All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Jet Set Dream podcast. It's been a minute. It's been a few weeks since I've released another episode, but after an event from yesterday, I thought it was only fitting that I do bring it back. But we'll get into that a little later. I'm gonna let you guys know how I've been. I've been good. I have a new job now. My flight school unfortunately closed down, but I'm at a new spot and I'm liking it. Um, But that is besides the fact. So we're just gonna get into why I am why I'm releasing this podcast. Doing this one. So pretty much as of yesterday, January 29th, 2025, there was a aircraft crash by U.S. Airline. I'm not saying they caused it. We don't know. I don't think they did, in my opinion. Um, but American Eagle Flight 5242, which was operated by PSA Airlines, was flying from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C., KDCA to Reagan National Airport. And it collided midair. I'm not saying it collided, the helicopter collided with it from the looks of it. Um, at around 9 p.m., it collided with a Sikorsky H-60 Blackhawk at around 9 p.m. last night. And as you can probably see right here, it says a 16-year safety record. That's not just that U.S. airline. We haven't had a major crash in the U.S. involving a U.S. airline in 16 years. The last one was the famous Captain Solenberger Miracle on the Hudson. Um, but the last like major crash that happened was also in 2009, involving Colgan Air, um, when they crashed in Newark, New Jersey. It was Dash 8 in February. Sorry, it was after the Solenberger crash, but that happened on February 12th, 2009. That was the last time we had a major U.S. aircraft accident. Um, and this crash by no means is anywhere near as to what happened back in 2009 involving both Soli and this Colgan Air crash. But I just want to say that the last time we had a crash like this happen was back in 2009. So the safety record for the U.S. is insane. But today, so a little bit about me. I graduated from Embry-Riddle with a degree in aeronautics. I have a minor in aviation safety, crash investigation, all that sort of stuff. And I like to consider myself an amateur crash investigator. This is kind of a passion of mine. Like when I'm not flying or whatever, not hanging out with friends, I love like looking into old crashes. Um, and this one, it piqued my interest because it's been 16 years since we had an event like this happen. Um, but I mean, yeah, let's get into it. So I first heard about this from a buddy of mine last night, in a group chat that we have with all of our pilot friends. And this buddy of mine is a pilot for PSA, and he warned us like, "Hey, something might have happened with one of our aircraft." We're like, "No shot, really?" And lo and behold, something did happen. A very unfortunate and tragic event happened, where around just under 70 people lost their lives. Um, and it's very sad what happened. But we're gonna start off. I'm gonna play the video from a security cam of the crash. I hate that it got released so quickly. I really do, just because there were people on both the helicopter and the aircraft that lost their lives, and the news was so quickly to release this video. And I'm like, have some feel, guys. Like people lost their lives. There's family and friends of people on that aircraft that you see going down into the Potomac River. But I'm gonna play the video first. So here it is, right here. I'm getting it from Twitter. So here's an aircraft taken up, but this is where we're watching. We see the helicopter right here, and there's the aircraft, the PSA crash. You see a nice explosion right there. Not nice. You see an explosion right there, and you see. I think that must have been the plane. Let's watch it again. There's the crash. I think that was the plane. Here, let's just follow this. So we don't really see where the helicopter went. I think the helicopter went here, and that's the CRJ right here. So that's, in my opinion, I hate watching that. Oh, that's bad. Jeez, come on, Mike. That's not something. Really? Jeez. Anyways, let's exit out of that. But in my opinion, this was not on purpose. I've seen a lot of skeptical things saying that, oh, it's on purpose. Why would they do it? Like, how would this happen? Let me just say that Washington D.C. airspace is some of the most congested airspace involving helicopters and aircraft in the U.S. Um, let me pull something up here. Sky Vector. I feel like I'm going for my CFI here, and I'm not a CFI, so don't listen to me. But if we go to DC, you see this big thing right here. This is called a TFR, temporary flight restriction. But this one is always here. Um, as you can see down at the bottom, it says until further notice. This is because you know what's in DC? You got Congress and you got the White House. So, right down here, where is it? Hold on. Let me find the airport. I could just do that. KDCA. So, KDCA. Wow, that did not help me at all. I think it's right here. Yeah, here's DCA. Is right in the middle of this TFR. So, they have what's called a special flight rules area. Um, and pilots have to go through certain training. But it's very, like, look at the amount of airports around it. It is very congested airspace. Um, and it's really easy to make mistakes. Granted, I wish a mistake like this never happened, but it did. So why do we think it happened? What do we think happened? That's where I'm going to bring up this video. So here we see radar from ATC. I don't know how they got this video, but here are the two aircraft right here. You got the helicopter, which is PAT 25, and PSA 5342. You see a collision alert. You see that. And we'll get into like some of the recordings from it here in a sec. That we have. It's not fully released. And that's where they make contact. The transponder keeps working. So you see the PSA aircraft keeps flying a little bit, but then it just nose dives down. This, I guess, just dives down. So let's go to um, figure out what happened, I guess, and let's listen to some of the recordings. Let me see here. Where can I find it? Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to Vast Aviation. All right, computer, take your sweet time, I guess. Oh, you get to see my feed. Oh no. Oh no, that's bad. It's not that bad. I don't really watch a whole lot of crazy stuff. But here we go. Let's listen to the audio from this. This is from Vast Aviation, by the way. They do a great job releasing all sorts of recordings from incidents and whatever. So January 29th, 25, with short final, circling for runway 33. This is usually what comes with a certain type of approach when a helicopter hit them. So let's make this full screen. So there's the CRJ. This is coming from live ATC. So there's the helicopter right there. And there's the CRJ right here. And here's the runway. Here's the airport right here. Oh, low battery. Oh well. This gives you a better view of what the airspace looks like here. It's a Class Bravo airspace, so it's very busy. Calling out the CRJ in question right here, telling the so what ATC just did here. I'll go back a little bit. He does a good job. So what he does, just listen. So what he did is he told Pat 25, which is the helicopter in question, that this CRJ, the PSA flight in question, to keep a lookout for him. He's just south of this bridge right here, and then keep visual separation. So I don't know what could have happened, but the helicopter was supposed to keep visual separations. Granted, I'm not saying this is by any means the helicopter's fault. A formal investigation hasn't, like a formal report has not been released. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Like I said, I'm just an amateur crash investigator and a guy who really has a passion for this stuff. But this is just what I think happened. So we'll continue with the recording. But he told Pat 25 to keep visual separation with this aircraft. Right there. That's where he said it. And then you see the helicopter start to turn in here. Well, I don't know why he asked them, "Do you have the CRJ in sight?" He's talking about this here. Now we can't hear what Pat 25 is saying because they're on their own frequency. They use ultra high frequency radio. We use VHF and normal general aviation airlines. That's what we use. So we can't hear what they're saying. That's not released on live ATC. So only people who are flying know what they're saying. Um, Granted, sometimes they do talk on VHF radio. I've had it happen where like F-35s come in while I'm flying and I hear them talking to tower like when they're doing low approaches, but we don't know what they're saying. So ATC is asking him, do you have this CRJ in sight? The CRJ 700, who's at 500 feet, now north of this bridge, lining up for runway 33, which is right here. He tells him to pass behind the CRJ. So if I was the helicopter pilot, to pass behind him, you got to come this way because this plane is going this way for this runway. We don't see that happen, though. Tells them visual separation is improved again, but they keep going. And here's the video again. You hear tower say, "Oh my," like because they weren't expecting it. And then you hear, and that's all I'm gonna send from this, but you hear everyone go crazy, and this is the view from what radar, what they would have seen. There's the collision avoidance. Now, why did there's a lot of things that could have happened, like as to why they didn't see each other. I don't know. Something could have happened there, but it's a little suspicious. I'm not saying like in how it was on purpose, but it's just a little suspicious as to what happened. You know, like we won't know until like CVR recordings are released, until the military does their investigation of their aircraft and everything. But I'm just going to go through what I think what happened. So you hear ATC tell them pass behind, maintain visual separation. We don't know what Pat 25 said. But at some point, there should have been a collision avoidance sign, and ATC should have seen that. And should have been like, hey, Pat 25, you're converging on this aircraft. Turn left and head due south immediately, or whatever. Or told the CRJ, go around, collision avoidance, traffic in close proximity. It's happened to me before with an aircraft. Like tower, like it's gotten hairy before. But we don't know what happened. So what I think happened, no, I closed the video. But in what I think happened is in that video, I think the lights of the helicopter were a little bit higher. And from the pictures that I've seen, this is just roughly what I think happened. Okay, so I think the helicopter might have hit the tail end of the CRJ, snap the tail off, which has its elevator and horizontal stab and vertical stab and rudder all on it, and that's what caused the plane to lose control. The explosion obviously helped with that, but I think it hit the tail, and that's what caused the plane to crash. But it's really hard to say, man. It's crazy. The last time we had, like, not the last time, but we've had midair since, like, before. But the big one involving an airliner right here is Pacific Southwest Airlines Flight 182 in San Diego. This happened in 1978, and it hit a Cessna 172. And this was on both ends. Like, it was on the 172 and the Pacific Southwest flight. They were supposed to call a traffic insight. Pretty sure if I remember correctly, they called out the wrong traffic. Um, you can see here, everyone on board the Pacific Southwest flight and 7 bystanders on the ground died, and the 2 pilots on board the Cessna died. This was the last major midair. The Cessna hit the Pacific Southwest Airlines flight. This is a crazy photo, by the way. Someone got of that. This is the last time we had a midair of this magnitude. Granted, this is a bigger aircraft than the CRJ, but still. But I jumping back to this, based on the pictures, let's see if there's any images. Wow, there's nothing. Fantastic. All right, that I actually don't mind that. Wow. All right, that's not good. We're gonna close that out. I don't know why someone would look that up, but yeah, that's just what I think happened. I think the helicopter hit the tail, caused them to lose all controllability of the aircraft, obviously, and they just from the video, from what I think happened, it's really hard to tell, but I think it flipped over end and dove down. They lost that horizontal component and every component of stability known to man, in my opinion. It's just crazy though. Like, I remember like watching the news 16 years ago of the Soli crash and be like, "Wow, that is insane." Then 16 years later, it's like, all right, we just had our first crash in 16 years, a major one. This is crazy. Grant, I was telling my mom this, but like we were due for an accident. I hate to say it, but we were due for an accident. Been 16 years since we had an accident, and we've had so many close calls, both in the air and on the ground. Like, it's insane that we haven't had one before now. But the safety record still stands. Like, flying is the safest way to fly. But one of the issues I think at hand is just like the funding for the FAA to hire air traffic controllers is not there right now, and it needs to be, because from what I hear, that controller was working 2 jobs at once. He was working approach and maybe center or something in tower. Like, he was working 2 jobs at once, and that's not okay, because that expands his working 12 aircraft at once, 24 or 30 aircraft at once that he needs to focus on. And in my opinion, that's why he probably didn't see the collision avoidance, because he was just so overworked working with some other aircraft that he just didn't notice it. And my heart goes out to him, man, because I'd hate to be in his position. Like, hey, there was a crash on my watch, and I'm not blaming him at all. Like, it's not fully his fault. Some of it is, he should have seen the collision avoidance sign, but it's also pilot's error as well for not seeing the aircraft. Like, you should see that. Not on the CRJ, on the helicopter. Um, Granted, I'm sure they were great pilots. I'm sure they're great people, but it's just I just can't fathom how it happened. Um, it's sad that 67 people in the crash died, and then 3 more on the chopper. Um, it's bad, but it's like I said, we were due, but I just wish it wasn't like this. I wish it was on the ground and everyone survived. Like, especially in the aviation community, everyone's feeling it. Like, because aviation is such a close knit community. Like, you will meet people who flew so many different aircraft, and they are some of the nicest people. And it's such close knit that if something happens, we all feel it, and we're all like in shock, and we all feel so bad, because I mean that could have been us, as the pilots or something. Um, but yeah, it's sad, and I I will say once again, I'm not happy that they released the photos, especially the photos of the crash so quickly. Like, that's I'm not happy about that. And especially the video, like that's not good. Oh my gosh! And then I saw a video of a reporter interviewing one of the family members of one of the victims on this in this crash. I'm like, dude, really? Let this man grieve. But yeah, I don't know. There's something that has to be done about the news. They're going like it's insane. But yeah, in my opinion, I'm gonna jump back to what I think happened. Helicopter somehow didn't see plane, or something was happening in helicopter that caused him not to see plane. Whether it was a medical emergency, who knows? I don't think it was, but that's what could have happened. They hit the plane. Obviously, they hit the plane towards, in my opinion, the aft section of the aircraft where the vertical and horizontal stabilizer are. The rudder is. The wings on that aircraft are more farther back, so I think it hit somewhere around there, a little higher up, because in the pictures I did see a picture. It doesn't look like you can see the tail at all. So I think the tail just came off. The rear end of the aft section of the aircraft came off, and they just lost all controllability of the aircraft, and they dove down. And that crash, if they were lower, might have been survivable. I mean, people might even a couple people might have survived this, honestly, on the aircraft. But just the temperature of the water being around 35 degrees, you only have about, I'd say, 30 or not even 10 minutes, maybe, of tuck, time of useful consciousness in the water, and then hypothermia is taken over and you're passing out. So it's sad. But there is a lot to learn from this crash, especially airspace wise and airspace that's such as DC's. Um, so I I really, I'm not going to say excited to see the report when it comes out, but I'm eager to see the report when it comes out to see what the NTSB says, um, and see what they say caused the crash, because I'm, yeah, like I'm intrigued, man. This is intriguing. Um, if this was before I got into like crash investigation and taking classes for in college, shout out Waldock at Embry Riddle. He was a great professor. Love that guy. I never would have cared as much as I do now. And before I was even a pilot, like I never would have cared. But now it's like those guys like flew in the skies maybe at the same time I was flying. Like it's weird. Like I shared the skies with these guys and now they're gone. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the NTSB makes of it. And I'm excited to see what regulation changes there are because of it. I'm sure there will be a couple, especially airspace wise, especially in the DC airspace, making it safer, and military wise, because military was involved. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know, drop in the comment section. Leave a like. Be sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. Give us a follow if you are not on YouTube and are listening on Spotify. I appreciate every single one of you. Blue skies and tailwinds to the pilots and first officers of the aircraft, that of both the Blackhawk and the CRJ. You're my prayers, man. Um, yeah, it's terrible. It's really sad, but yeah, blue skies and tailwinds, guys. But yeah, once again, thank you guys for listening. I'm sorry it was a little bit of a downer episode today, but I just wanted to give my analysis of what happened. It's a quick analysis. Maybe next week I'll go a little bit more in depth when we know more. But as of right now, it's just a quick analysis of what I think happened. Once again, I'm not a professional. I'm an amateur. I just love investigating these things. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, because chances are I'm completely wrong about this. But who knows? You never know. But thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. Drop a follow, drop a comment, drop everything, and take a listen to this podcast. I'll see you guys next time. I really love you guys. Have a great, great weekend, week, birthdays, whatever you have going on out there. Peace.